Good morning and happy Thursday. Welcome back to the Daily Grind. I'm your host, Chump Change. This is live and recorded. For those of you that might be new here, what we typically do is go over crypto news or news in general in the space. I update myself, bring you guys along for the ride. Let's see who's here in the house, then we'll get into this. Mr. Andrew Masad, good to see you. Leo Lustig, my man, he said, I tried to tell my son and his wife about how affected Walmart is going to be by this strike. Oh, you're talking about the shipping strike. Yeah. It's gonna be crazy. He said they were like, it's no big deal, so I bought extra diapers and they're gonna and he's gonna charge them double when they need them. You know what, it's funny, it's kind of like bringing back the whole COVID crisis with toilet paper and paper towels and diapers. I assume is gonna be the same issue. That's kind of crazy. I guess we'll have to see, only time will tell. Charlie, good to see you, man. Moria, that's how you say that. I apologize if I butchered that. Good to see you. Black Hat Team, good morning, sir. Let's see, anybody else? I need my COD. Sorry, I need my BTC is now your name. All right, anybody else I may have missed, I apologize, but we got a lot of things to go over, so let's get into this. Bitcoin 61,121 bucks. We got Ethereum at 2371. We're gonna watch a video later today. Actually, it's on Swan Bitcoin's channel, and this guy said that he predicts by Halloween 2025 we're gonna see a $475,000 Bitcoin.
Stop the cap.
Definitely not going to go that high, but actually, you know, I can't say definitely because nobody knows, but that's kind of it's kind of outrageous. But I still think this is a great time to buy, to be honest. Solana 138 bucks, down 5% today. XRP is down 11% today. I am not a fan of XRP, but I've been debating about just throwing some money into it right now because I sold out a little bit higher than this the other day. So I don't know, maybe we'll see. Caspa is on a fire sale as well, 14.6. It was under 14.5 yesterday and earlier today. Actually, I bought some more yesterday. ADA's at 34 cents. We get Near Protocol over here at $4.59, down 4.4%. We have APT up actually 12% on the day, $8.49. Let's see, ETC is at $18.52. Let's see, Pepe is down today 6%, a little more than 6%. Dogecoin down 1%. It is 10 cents, 10.5 cents just about. Shiba is down 1.82%. BNB is at $543. BitTensor is still at 511 bucks, but it's down 6.82%. Render is actually down to $5.28, down almost 10%. Crazy. All right, well, Jesus, what the hell just happened? There we go. All right, moving on. Crypto bubbles. Let's see what we got. Biggest loser of the day seems to be this Athena token or coin over here, 15.7% down on the day, 30 cents. We have Phantom over here down 12.1% to 61 cents. We have XRP again down 11%, 52 cents. All set. What's up, dude? Good morning, sir. Backwards Miner, my man, good to see you. We have Beam down 10.7% to 1.5 cents. Wormhole down 10.2% to 33 cents, almost 34 cents. We have APT again. Zapdos up 12.5%. That's the biggest earner of the day, seems to be. Sui is up 3% today to $1.90. I've been hearing a lot of good things about Sui, but I don't know. What do you guys think about Sui? Is anybody buying that? Anybody into it? Max Voltage, good morning, sir. Good morning. Hadouken to you. Render down 9.5%. Again, might be a good idea to buy some Render. I should probably look into that actually. I finally staked my Solana on Tangem, so that's pretty cool. I can't wait for that to go through. I guess it takes like 3 days for it to like settle or something. I don't know. We're gonna see what happens. But Solana is down 5.4% today. 138 bucks. Pretty cheap, not gonna lie. So we're gonna have to see what happens there. I wonder if we're gonna see a $500 Solana this run. What do you guys think? I think we'll probably get there. All right, flashbang. Let's see. Crypto fear and greed index. We got a 37. We are in the fear, as you can see. This is it's good. Again, beginning of October. It's perfect. Perfect time for it to start rising. We want this needle down. This is when all the smart people are buying. You a smart person? Are you buying? Let me know in the chat, because yeah, that's what the smart people do. And then when it gets greedy, people sell. Be greedy when people are fearful, and fearful when people are greedy. All right, over here, top 10 coins by coin market cap over on CoinGecko. We have Bitcoin, Ethereum, Tether, BNB, Solana, USDC, XRP, Lido Staked Ether, Dogecoin, and Tron in 10th place over here at a $13.3 billion market cap. Toncoin's in 11th place actually at a 13.298, and Cardano is behind both of those in 12th place at a $12.1 billion market cap. Cardano held 10th place forever, and Tron and Toncoin kind of just took it over. But I like transacting on the Tron network. It's fast and easy. I guess Polygon's stupid cheap though, according to my man Crypto KJ. He was telling me I should use that instead. What do you guys think about that? Let me know in the chat if you guys use the Polygon network at all. I've never used it, to be honest, but Tron I really thought was pretty cheap until he showed me that. We got Near Protocol over here in 24th place, Litecoin in 26th place. Again, these are still coins that are down 80% or so. Caspa 33rd place over here. Again, fire sale for Caspa, my opinion. ETC is in 35th place. Interesting. Polygon X-Matic. What the hell? They had to put that there just because they, what did they get rid of Matic, the ticker or something? I don't know what the hell's going on there. I'm pretty sure they like nuked it or something. I don't know. I forget. Anyways, all right, let's see real quick. I want to check what was Solana's all-time high. I forget. Let's see. Yeah, 259 bucks. Yeah, I don't see why we wouldn't go to almost 500 this run. I don't see why we wouldn't blow past that. That's just my opinion, but we're gonna have to see. Again, we're gonna have to see. Only time will tell. Nobody knows anything. All right, moving on to the mining segment of things. Got a few things I want to watch today. We got, you guys don't like timestamp this stuff, right? See how much we're making per day. We got the AL1 Pro over here, 16.6 terahash unit, making $43.81 a day.
Bruh.
After 10 cents per kilowatt hour. This is your take home. Alethea must be taking a shit, at least a little bit. 4.49%. Yeah, $1.42. Yep. It was $1.50 yesterday, so about 8 cents from yesterday, about 30 cents from last week. Damn.
Bruh.
That's kind of shitty. Not gonna lie. The AL1 15.6 terahash unit over here, let's see, making $41.16 a day. We get the AL3 15 terahash unit. This is from Ice River. If you guys are buying anything from Ice River, use code CHUMP. It'll get you 2.5% off. But we have $39.28 on those things. Man, it's crazy how fast the prices just go down on these. But you know what? Again, if we have a pump tomorrow, prices will all go up a little bit, right? We have the Antminer L9 17 gigahash unit over here, making $16.11 a day. This is in 4th place for the most profitable miners. Interesting. I guess you could triple mine bells with this as well. I don't know. A lot of people, you guys were asking if I would buy an L9 or just buy ASICs in general right now. I really wouldn't. I would just buy the coin. That's what I've been doing. I'm just gonna invest in the coin. Electric bills are too high. The coins are stupid cheap right now, and if you believe in the project, why not? Because it's too big of a risk to buy machines in hopes that they sell for more in 6 months. That's just my opinion. I can't do it. I bought some Radiant as well this morning, Mr. Crypto KJ. I bought some this morning, and this is my first time ever buying Radiant, so we're gonna have to see what happens with that. All right, we got Bitmain Antminer L9 16 gigahashes over here, making $15.16 a day. Scrolling down a little bit. Let me turn this music a little bit. We got the KS5 Pro 21 terahash unit over here, making $13.11 a day. Damn. KS5 20 terahash unit making $12.49 a day. Alpha Packs DG1 Plus. This is the Dogecoin Litecoin miner, 14 gigahashes, $10.92 a day. We got Gold Shell EAL1M. This is the Alethea 4.4 terahash miner, 1800 watts, $10 a day.
Bruh.
Crazy. Ice River AL2 Lite 2 terahash unit on Alethea, 500 watts, $5.16 a day. The L7, my L7, you guys know I got this thing down at Terra Hosting. Shout out to them if you guys are interested in hosting. Links in the description. This is the 9050 version. I've had this thing for about 2 or 3 years, and it's stayed profitable consistently. $4.92. It's amazing. It definitely could be better, but $5 a day, I'll take it. Why not? Let's see. We got the AL Box 3 over here. Again, I still think it's a shame they keep putting these things out this fast. Like, just slow down. You can take people's money whenever you want. Okay, take a step back, take a breath, just come out with like the AL5. All right, you don't have to name it that. You can name it the 3, but just make it progress a little bit more instead of being like, you know, here's a little bit at a time. It's you're making a bad name for yourself. That's just my opinion on this whole thing. All the gold shell boxes that just keep dropping, and they're just progressively more money and just not great. But 1.25 terahashes, 600 watts. We have $2.53 a day.
Bruh.
Not worth it. The AL box 2 plus, I have this thing, 1 terahash unit, 480 watts, $2 a day. So, man, it sucks. It sucks that it friggin' dropped that much. The AL box 2 pro, this is not with the integrated PSU, 9050, $1.92 a day. In the original AL box 2, 720 gigahashes over here, 360 watts, $1.42 a day. I mean, again, for the wattage and the what you're yielding, it's whatever. But yeah, I'd like to see them bring in some more than that. We got the Lithium AL0, 400 gigahashes at 100 watts, $1 a day, just about $1.03. And the RX0 is right behind that, 260 gigahashes. Some people were getting these. Shout out to my man Royce and a lot of you guys in the VIP that got your RX0s already. $1 a day on this thing, but 260 gigahashes again. Flashbang quick. Let's go see RXD real quick. A Lithium's hash rate is 16.83 petahashes right now. Let's see. 260. You're getting about, oh, the was 1,200 coins a day. Now it's 1,192. Look at that. It was over 1,200 the other day. So still yielding a decent amount of coins. Hopefully this project jumps up, but I don't know. Only time will tell. AL blocks, the original 360 gigahash unit, 180 watts, 71 cents a day.
Bruh.
People paid $6 grand for that thing. God. Jeez. That's so rough. All right, moving on. I'm gonna get out of here in a second. Actually, 400 gigahashes. I want to see the KS0 Ultra. It's only making 15 cents a day.
Bruh.
That is so bad. That is so bad. All right. I'm done. That's it. That is all she wrote. I'm gonna refresh this. All right, top of the charts. Looks like a Leo still top of the charts for every single card. Conflux and Pyron squeezing its ass in there a little bit on the 3080s. We got Block X on the 90HX and Chlor as well. Interesting. How big of a pullback did Chlor take yesterday? Let's see. 8.64%. Jeez, 9 cents. Might have to buy some Chlor too. Chlor's still down. Again, they do have a actual use case, so and it's only got a $38 million market cap. I don't know, could be one of those ones you make some money on. Interesting. Yeah, Aleo seems to be the top of the charts for everything, so there you go. Go steal Mr. Red Panda Mining's profits and get yourself some Aleo. Let's see. $4.87 a coin, or a token, or is it coin? What's a coin? Yeah, the other day, 29th, so that was about 5 days ago. 28th, $6.66. The devil. This coin is the devil. That's your sign. Stay away from it. Sell it immediately. All right, sorry, flashbang. I feel like I'm missing something. Am I missing something? No, we're gonna look at CPUs quick just for shits. All right, looks to be this SPR coin. What is this one again? Spectre Network. I have no idea what this one is, but Varus coin still top of the charts for a lot of the profitability over here on CPUs. We got the nice hash Varus hash. I am not a fan of nice hash at all, but hey, to each his own. If you can make more money there, why not? Zephyr, the AMD Epic 7763. That's a weird number for a CPU, but yeah. All right, you guys got a few things to pick from today. Zephyr still. What is Zephyr looking like? I haven't looked at Zephyr in forever. I'm not really big into CPU mining. It's like literally chasing a dangling carrot on a string. It's such a, I don't know. If you haven't got into it yet, please just don't waste your time. This is my opinion. All right, we got, let's see. Damn, it's actually taking a freaking shit, huh? God, I still can't believe this coin went up to $50. Jesus. Mansa, I'm gonna screenshot that. Thank you. Crypto is done. I'm gonna timestamp this right here. The most foolish comment of the day has arrived. I'm gonna save this one for the bull run. When you come back in and say I missed the boat, I'm gonna wave to you. Bye, little buddy. See you on the yacht. All right, moving in to news of the day. Fundstrat's Tom Lee on the 6,000 S&P. Oh, $6,000 S&P 500 year-end target. Let's see what he's got to say. Over here, Tom Lee is the man. Let's do it.
Tom Lee is back with us for his latest musings on the markets. It's managing partner, head of research at Fundstrat Global Advisors, as well as a CNBC contributor. People forget, I think, but your outlook and views are always nuanced to some extent, Tom. So last time you were on, after being pretty bullish on small caps through the end of the year, I wouldn't say you didn't change that long-term view, but you did express some near-term caution. And these people want to know, the people that follow you, the people that watch Squawk Box, they want to know exactly what to do every minute of every day. So it looked to them like you had waffled on your long-term view. And you're going to say the same thing today. I think near-term, you acknowledge that there could be some bumpiness, choppiness, but by the end of the year, you think 6,000 on the S&P.
That's right. I think we're still in the midst of a very tricky period because we've got the election in less than 35 days. And now we've got two things that investors don't know how to discount. One is, mounting tensions in the Middle East, and then a port strike that is potentially going to cripple the economy. And so I think that as investors worry about this, if we get a dip, and a big dip, I think you still want to buy that dip because the setup into year end has a lot of tailwinds.
The worst case scenario for the port situation is something that we've seen. And we shut down an economy already, and that was probably a time to buy. We know that. So we've seen that movie before. Could it be? I can't imagine it could be as bad as the pandemic, but we have shut down an economy before.
Yeah, that's right. So I think it creates headline risk because, the longer this strike lasts, there'll be companies that miss, and so S&P earnings might get downgraded or some stocks might miss results. But that's all just temporary. I mean, those are just short-term headwinds because it doesn't change the long-term outlook.
It's very strange that I don't remember any war that lasts, that where the effects, and we've been through quite a few back in the 90s and in the 2000s. It never seemed to have as negative an effect on the overall markets as we thought at the beginning of each.
That's right. In fact, if we look at the last 6 sort of global wars or tensions, you almost always buy the invasion. The exception was 2022 with the Russia-Ukraine war because we were also in the midst of a Fed tightening cycle. So that was not a buy the invasion event. But the other times you did want to buy.
Both Iraq wars.
Yep, both Iraq and.
Was the market, where was the market before that happened? Had levels come down, or were they trading at near highs or at highs?
Yes, this is different because we are hovering near highs and we're in an extended market.
And things aren't cheap in terms of multiples.
That's right. But at the same time, we also know there is a lot of cash on the sidelines because margin debt hasn't risen for 4 months. I mean, that's pretty unusual with a rising stock market. And now money market cash has actually been rising at a time when the Fed is cutting. So I do think there's firepower.
The other issue, just the longshoreman strike, if that goes on for an extended period of time, is that something, we were talking before, how much that cuts off the GDP. If it's there for a week, maybe cuts 0.3 of the GDP.
Yeah.
For every week they're out. Is that something that the Fed comes in with much more aggressive cuts and that fixes things, or are there inflationary factors that also come into play and that ties their hands?
I mean, the Fed has to kind of put that in their calculus because the labor market has also softened. So if this is a shock in a way that causes the labor market to weaken, the Fed's going to be a lot more dovish. But we get the payrolls report Friday, and I'd say maybe it sort of early hints seem like it's actually going to be a better than expected report.
But then you also add in what would happen from inflationary pressures, not only from the longshoreman strike, but potentially from oil prices going up in the Middle East, too.
Yeah, that's right. I think the Fed at this point would be more concerned if the consumer expectations got unanchored on inflation, and those have actually been improving. So I think the Fed can be less worried about the inflation side of it.
Home Depot's going up because of me. I just continuously buy shit there. Does anybody else feel that way? You're just always going to Home Depot, spending just outrageous amounts of money. I swear to God, I spent like $1,000 just on wood yesterday.
See Tepper talking about China. Would you ever
subscribe to that theory?
Buy a lot in China?
Yeah, I mean, I'd say that not only did China launch a bazooka, but it's really working, right? Because the stock market has really broken out. I think China is now the best performing stock market this year.
But was the move made? I mean, I think we had Kyle Bass on yesterday, and I think he would argue long term, no matter how you want to think about China, it's a bad bet. He was suggesting maybe in the short term, it's a good bet. And I don't think he was necessarily opining on whether the bet is over. But the move, obviously, the big move has happened. The question is, do you see that doubling? Is that in the cards at this point of the game?
Yeah, I mean, something to keep in people's back of their mind. Over the last 10 years, China has underperformed the U.S. by 7,700 basis points. So if China doubles, it's still underperformed by like 5,000 basis points. So, I mean, there's a lot of room for a rally, even if it looks corrective.
I think his phrase was something like, it's just a bad bet on communists.
No, he's saying long term it's a bad bet, but he's saying short term it might be a good bet.
It's not our grandfather's communism. It's almost, I don't even know we need a portmanteau for what capitalism, based with communism is.
Yeah.
Bidenomics, maybe. Kidding, Andrew. Kidding.
Oh boy, Joe's throwing daggers. OpenAI raises $6.6 billion in funding for a $157 billion valuation. Let's see what they got to say over here about OpenAI and Yahoo Finance. Let's do it.
Well, OpenAI has closed a massive funding round that values Sam Altman's generative AI giant at $157 billion. For more on this, let's welcome in Yahoo Finance's Dan Howley. Dan, there's been a lot of reporting recently that this was in the works. So now it is closed amidst a time of some turmoil for the company as well. So give us the big picture here.
Yeah, they raised $6.6 billion. Some of the investments come from the likes of Microsoft, a little bit of investment from NVIDIA, which is interesting, and then a number of VC firms. But, as you kind of pointed to, this is a time where OpenAI is dealing with a number of high-level departures. Their CTO just left. Some of their scientists have left. Co-founders have left. So this is a time where you're looking at this company and you're saying, okay, so it's basically Sam Altman's company. Microsoft has obviously a kind of, you would think, guiding hand to a degree, just based on the huge sums that they've invested in it. I think part of the equation comes down to, how does Microsoft feel about the changes going on there? But I guess that's besides the point when it comes to this round, because clearly they still have plenty of people who believe that they have room to grow and will continue to be a driving force in generative AI. That's despite the fact that the likes of Google, Amazon, Apple, kind of to a degree, Meta, are really building up their own AI offerings and proving that they have what it takes to compete in the space as well.
So it was interesting, Dan. I saw reports that they're actually on track to lose around $5 billion this year on something like $3.7 billion of revenue. But I guess these investors are just saying, that's okay. Spend, grow, take as much share as possible. We'll worry about the bottom line sometime later.
I mean,
Listen, that's a drop in the bucket compared to the economy. $5 billion a day with these ports being shut down.
Bruh.
That was the kind of go-to idea for Silicon Valley for a while, right? Mostly prior to the pandemic. That was the kind of go-to model, was just expand, burn our money like it's nothing, and then you'll get us on the back end, basically. And for a company like this, expenses are kind of different from what we saw from the Facebooks or Metas, whatever. It's Facebook then, so let's just call it that. Because they have to invest so heavily in the hardware, the land, to have data centers. I mean, it's not just building software and paying people. It's huge sums of money going into the actual infrastructure to operate the business itself. So they're going to continue to burn holes in the pockets of their investors until they're able to start turning a profit based on either deals or signing up more enterprise customers or getting consumers to sign up for the pro level. And there are obviously subscribers that do use the pro level. They still have millions of users who use the free version, but it's going to be the enterprise and those deals that they sign, similar to what they have with Microsoft, Apple, for instance, they're working with. That's going to be what starts to really generate the funds. I think the other thing is, as I said, Google's trying to do that too. And they're not a small company. I mean, relative to OpenAI, they make OpenAI look very small. So, you know, it'll be interesting to see how those two kind of do battle and where that leads OpenAI.
Yeah, I mean, just to, you know what I thought of as you were talking, like if you think of something that's a subscription model, I know it's not the same at all, but I think of Peloton, right? Where you pay a certain amount of money, whether you have the hardware or not, and that's not enough to sustain the kind of investment. So to your point, they need even to ratchet up, they need the enterprise customers because it's not paying for itself.
Those are going to be the ones that do it.
Yeah.
I mean, bad for Peloton.
Well, that's a whole other story.
Yeah.
Dan, thanks a lot. Appreciate it.
All right. We don't care about Peloton. NVIDIA CEO Jensen Huang over here. We're looking at the beginning of the next wave of AI. Let's see what he's got to say over here on CNBC television. Let's do it.
NVIDIA and Accenture shares both getting a boost after expanding their partnership to help companies adopt AI. And it involves creating an NVIDIA business group within Accenture and training 30,000 employees on NVIDIA's AI tools and platform. Well, joining us now exclusively are NVIDIA CEO Jensen Huang and Accenture CEO Julie Sweet. Jensen, Julie, great to see you. Julie joining us from across the pond in London even. So welcome. Jensen, so let's talk scaling AI adoption here. Why is this partnership important for companies being able to understand the measurable ROI they can expect and helping businesses adopt agents?
Yeah, it's great to see you. Hi, Julie. Hey, John.
Hi, Jensen.
So first of all, the last 10 years, we've been focused on reinventing the computer, getting it ready for generative AI. And what we're going through right now, the first wave of AI, is modernizing all of the world's data centers. $1 trillion worth of data centers being reimagined and modernized to be prepared for generative AI. And a lot of our focus has been in the cloud, in data centers and such. What we're looking at now is the beginning of the next wave of AI, the biggest wave of AI. And this is really about companies around the world using AI to be more productive as their digital employees and AI agents and co-pilots and however people describe them, as well as using AI, generative AI, to revolutionize the way they build their products and the products they build. And so we've created 2 operating systems to be able to do that. One of them, of course, is large language models with NeMo and NIM and all of our AI factories work. And the other operating system is Omniverse that allows us to represent digital information that is for the world of space-time. And these 2 operating systems are fundamental technologies, of course, but ultimately, in order to drive business impact, we're going to need a transformer, a transducer, somebody who is the connecting fabric between our enabling technology that we build in AI Foundry and Omniverse and connecting it to customers and their business impact, and that's Accenture. I can't imagine a better partner. Julie and I imagined this partnership about 4 months ago, and after that, our 2 engineering teams and research teams swarmed the building of a new platform that Accenture calls AI Refinery that helps customers build AI agents and co-pilots and AIs that help them use tools and access proprietary information and to be able to perform tasks and drive productivity. And we're working together across the agents space for employee co-pilots, as well as the metaverse place, Omniverse space for digital manufacturing. So we got a really big partnership.
Okay, and Julie, give us the big picture here for you strategically. Last year, you told us Accenture is going to invest $3 billion over 3 years in your data and AI practice, that you double your AI talent headcount to 80,000. How much of that $3 billion and 80,000 is going to be focused on the NVIDIA stack?
Well, NVIDIA Stack is a great example of exactly how we're investing, because we're investing to actually help our clients accelerate their use of Gen AI to go faster. And by the way, we're using it at Accenture. So one of the things that Jensen and I agreed from the beginning was we need to have Accenture be our own best credential using this technology. And so we have now used it and are deploying it in marketing using the engine of NVIDIA and then seamlessly integrating across our technology stack and across our other investments in Gen AI to now go to market 20 to 50% faster to reduce our cost. And most importantly, we rewired our marketing function to get our campaigns to actually have 35% less steps. And that's what Jensen talks about, the transformation piece of this is we're not taking technology and just applying it to what we do today. We're rewiring. We're doing the same on the manufacturing side. You probably don't know, John, but we have at Accenture 1 million square feet of manufacturing space. We manufacture customized automation robotics, and we're using the combination of AI Foundry and Omniverse, starting in the design cycle to reduce that design cycle on those customized robotic automations by 50%. We're at the beginning, we're rolling it out, but we're demonstrating that agentic architecture is real, it's scalable, and we can use that engine across and leverage the digital cores and the Gen AI investments our clients are already making.
Damn, that's crazy. 1 million square feet. Insane. AI will continue its bullish run, says Deepwater's Doug Clinton. Let's see what they got to say over here on CNBC television. Let's do it.
All right, let's bring in Doug Clinton, Intelligent Alpha founder and CEO, to discuss. I said before, to our markets panel, if nothing else, this just reminds you where the puck's going, where the flood of capital continues to go, whether it's in the private market or in the public markets by investors who want to capitalize on this incredible revolution in AI.
That's right. I mean, valuations are forward-looking, Scott. You see the $150 billion number. We talk about Uber as a comp. We talk about double Chipotle, which I think OpenAI probably should be double Chipotle. But that's what I think investors are betting on, is that today we've got a company with a $4 billion annualized run rate. Next year, I've heard rumors that they think they could hit 10. Trading 15 times that run rate. It feels expensive today if you do the math, but looking out tomorrow, if that's the future, then it won't look so bad.
Would you guys be lining up to get something on the IPO at this one?
Well, we did invest at Deepwater in XAI, so we are big believers in these foundation model companies. We didn't participate in this round. It doesn't mean that we wouldn't look to in the future.
Right. How are you thinking about tech right now? We said in this quarter, which just ended, it took a bit of a backseat to the rest of the market. Some say that's a great sign, but better late than never. But what about that? What about the sector here? We're going to be talking about earnings in a few weeks.
We still feel bullish about tech, and our view hasn't changed at all. I mean, we've been talking about a 2 to 4 year window here where we think AI will continue its bull run. I've used the word bubble in the past to describe what I think the ultimate outcome is. It's hard to see a scenario where if AI is as profound as we all think it is, that it doesn't end in bubble, because typically every breakthrough technology does. You need that excess capital to just make sure that all of the access is cheap. All of the bad ideas out there that might turn out to be good ones get tried, and that's what we're seeing now.
But that just means that some eggs in the carton get broken. It doesn't mean that the whole thing gets destroyed.
That's right.
Correct?
I think the carton gets dropped, and maybe even some of the good eggs maybe roll around on the floor for a little while. But you need to go as an investor who is paying attention to this, close attention, and say which are the ones that ultimately should have long-term value. And I think private market investors certainly are voting
for the names that you continue to bet on most of all are Meta and NVIDIA. Is that right?
That's right.
Why have you sort of pushed the others to the side and focused more heavily on those?
We do have some exposure.
It's rather obvious, but if you want to say, let's say Meta over Alphabet over some of the others.
Sure, we also do own some Alphabet. So the way we think of it is kind of NVIDIA, Meta, Alphabet as the big three within mega cap tech. They control their own destiny in AI. Meta and Google are building their own models. They can self-fund building their own models. They don't need to go raise $6 billion. They can make that in a month. And so those companies, I think, are just in a unique position as we think about this future of AI. They kind of control where they can go. NVIDIA, of course, is the ARM supplier, and so that's the bet there.
So PDD and Tencent, you're in? Or they're top holdings in the ETF. How are you thinking about these stocks, which have just ripped over the last week? Too much? Time to get off the boat? What do you think?
Well, so what's really interesting about this new ETF we launched that holds these Chinese equities is it's actually powered by AI. We have built Intelligent Alpha. We've launched it as a new firm out of Deepwater, where our first product is the Livermore ETF. The ticker is LIVR. And we use an AI-powered investment committee, which consists of GPT, Claude, and Gemini, 3 large language models, to go and pick these stocks. And so one of the themes when we launched that the AI committee loved was China. And I mean, timing is lucky, right? We couldn't have predicted that a week later the Chinese bank would be cutting rates as aggressively as they did. But AI kind of saw that, I think as we were talking about in the prior panel, China just felt like it was in the tank. It was probably as cheap as it could get. AI made that bet, and it's paying off right now.
Interesting. All right, moving on. Let's see what else we got. Oil slightly higher on Middle East tensions. See what they got to say again. CNBC television. Let's do it.
Meantime, we got energy to watch. Oil prices are higher once again after Israel did strike back at Hezbollah in Lebanon. The real story, though, may be why oil is not even higher given some of these rising tensions. Let's check in with Brian Sullivan, talk about that and this morning's headlines regarding OPEC and the Saudis. Hey, Brian.
Yeah, or maybe why oil is not actually lower. You know, that Wall Street Journal story we'll get to in just a second. I got a little have a fax coming in. I hope it's unbelievable. Anyway, Yes, they still exist. All right, so here's the thing. Let's talk first about why oil prices are not higher. Well, I think it's pretty obvious why oil prices are higher. They're up 3% to $72. That's pretty obvious. Why aren't they at $80 given all the tensions that we are seeing in the Middle East? Well, let's talk about it. Number one, you've got a couple million spare barrels of capacity that the Saudis are sitting on. Basically, OPEC could release if we see a disruption to Iran. U.S. oil production, as you guys have noted many times, is at record high, 13.2 million barrels a day as well. And the most important thing is that we have not seen a major reaction from Israel. Yes, they attacked Hezbollah sites in Beirut, Lebanon overnight, but we have not seen a big response by Israel directly at Iran, either their oil ports or the nuclear facilities. Those would be the things, guys, that we all know that would send oil much, much higher. Okay, now to the little palace intrigue story, Carl, that you sort of referenced. Big article in the Wall Street Journal today. OPEC just ended, by the way, their virtual meeting today. No change in output. None was expected. They said Russia and Iraq are now conforming. But here's the story. Is OPEC sort of on the inside fracturing? The Wall Street Journal story noted that there was a conference call either, recently, like last week or whenever it might have been, and that there were some concerns about this Saudi, price target, which there is no price target, by the way. But will they defend price, or will it devolve into a market share war and send oil maybe down to $50 a barrel? Saudis reached out directly to me, guys, and said that they didn't say the story was wrong, but they said there was no conference call recently. So it appears Saudis pushing back on the Wall Street Journal story. But I think your point, Carl, is well taken. This $50 thing getting a lot of attention this morning. I guess I'll go check my fax machine, see what just rolled in.
Yeah.
Who has a fax machine?
I know, that's really kind of bizarro. What is it, 1992 over there in the Sullivan household?
I'm glad that I can make the hit more interesting no matter what it was.
Well, you always make them interesting. But come back to us then. I mean, you know the Saudis as well as anyone, Brian. So how do you view this in terms of the communication you've gotten, the fact that they are questioning the Journal story? Where do you think sort of the truth really lies here?
What do they say? Somebody's talking, right? I think it comes down. Listen, OPEC's a big group. OPEC plus an even bigger group. I think it seems clear that there are likely members inside of OPEC that are sort of talking to various parts of the media, maybe myself included, who knows, and basically saying, well, here's what we think is going to happen. This is a group, everybody, they are aligned in many ways, but they are also sovereign nations, David, as you know, with their own, looking out for their own sovereign nation best interest. How do we read this? Well, I think that we read this as and I want to clear up something that has been wrong in certain parts of the media for a couple weeks now. There is no Saudi Arabian or OPEC price target. There is no official OPEC or Saudi price target. I want to clear that up. There's been a lot of talk about defending higher prices, but I think this is a clear sign that some in the group maybe are not happy with their quotas, that they are sort of being allowed, I'm using air quotes, to pump out. So says my fax, anyway.
Got it. All right. Well, keep us abreast of all things, including whatever faxes you're getting.
Keep us abreast of all things. All right. CNBC Crypto World. Bitwise files the SEC to launch XRP ETF.
Stop the cap.
Hold on. Is that why XRP is taking a major shit? It's 52 cents. Oh, gosh. All right. Let's watch it, I guess. See what they got to say over here. Guys, that like button. Appreciate you hanging out.
Let's stick with XRP as we tackle the top stories. Bitwise just took a step toward launching what would be the first ETF tracking XRP. The asset manager submitted a registration filing, also known as an S1, to the SEC this morning. The S1 comes just 2 days after Bitwise registered an XRP trust product in Delaware. The company's CEO, Hunter Horsley, announced the development on X this morning, saying XRP has been an enduring crypto asset for more than a decade with investor interest. Since the approval of spot Bitcoin ETFs in January, asset managers have continued to push for crypto-backed exchange-traded products, including the Ether ETFs, now trading on U.S. markets as of July, plus applications among some for a Solana-backed ETF. Next, a federal appeals court ruled that Americans can bet on 2024 congressional elections. That decision was made in response to the CFTC's appeal in a legal battle with prediction market Kalshi. Political betting is gaining traction as the U.S. presidential election approaches, with more than $1.1 billion at stake on Polymarket, a platform that uses crypto tokens for its bet placing system. That platform was fined by the CFTC in 2022. Now, Polymarket doesn't allow Americans to bet on its platform. Now, this comes a week after CFTC Chair Russ Benham joined CNBC, where he said these markets are illegal under current law and didn't rule out the possibility of enforcement actions against them before the election. The CFTC declined to comment on the ruling, but noted that it was for the agency's request for an emergency stay, not the appeal itself. All right, sticking with politics for our main story, Crypto World's Mackenzie Sagalos spoke with Georgetown professor Jim Angel about both presidential candidates' crypto policies and what regulatory changes he expects in the coming months.
So crypto has become a big part of the conversation in the 2024 election. You've got crypto companies outraising big oil and the banks, all in the hope of electing candidates up and down the ballot who are pro-crypto, or at least not anti-crypto. And part of that has been about putting someone in the White House who wants to switch things up over at the SEC. You've got Chair Gary Gensler, who's largely viewed by the industry as this major roadblock to growing in the U.S. Donald Trump has said that he would fire him, which he can't exactly do, but he could swap in a new chairman. How are you thinking about the fate of SEC Chair Gensler under Trump versus a Harris administration?
Well, a lot of people are very upset about Chair Gensler's activities, not just in crypto, but in other areas. So there are a lot of people who'd be very happy to see him go. However, his position as an SEC commissioner has a very specific appointment from Congress, so it is not a political spoils job. Yes, a new chair could be swapped in, but there would still be 3 Democratic commissioners and 2 Republicans on day one. So it will take time for a new president to install new people at the SEC. So that being said, if a new chair is swapped in, President Trump would likely put in one of the Republican commissioners who would have a very different agenda. And one thing to remember about the SEC, the chair controls the agenda. Each minority commissioner has 5 staffers. The chair has about 5,000. So in order to get anything done, it has to be done with the chair's approval. So the only thing the other commissioners do is they get to vote on things, but that's about it. So if a new chair comes in, we might see a very different direction.
And that is one question I have. So, let's say we did see this play out where a new chair was swapped in under a new administration. What does that mean for ongoing litigation? Coinbase, for example, has been in the midst of fighting the SEC for over a year now.
Well, the SEC is like a supertanker, and it doesn't change course very quickly. That even when they've made some horrific mistakes, they don't like to admit it, and they just sort of keep on going on their old path. So I would be hopeful that a new regime at the SEC would have a more appropriate response to so-called digital assets. I'm encouraged that Vice President Harris has announced her support for digital assets, but the SEC has shown, even long before Chair Gensler, an inability to come to grips with this new technology. And one thing the SEC does not understand is a different technology requires a different technology of regulation. So, for example, taxi cabs in New York have bulletproof screens to protect the drivers from robbery. Ubers don't need bulletproof screens because they don't carry cash. So when you have a new technology, you have to rethink regulation. And that's something the SEC has been unable to do. So it isn't just the chair, it's the entire organization that needs an overhaul.
I want to talk a little bit more about the election. I think that crypto-focused voters are trying to figure out where the 2 candidates stand on the issue. From your perspective, can you lay out how Donald Trump and Kamala Harris stack up on the issue of crypto?
All right. Donald Trump sees a lot of crypto people who are very angry at the government, and his core is people who are angry at the government. And so he sees a natural affinity between his campaign and the crypto crowd. So obviously he wants to do things that will please his constituency. And also he'd love them to give him money because he loves it when people give him money. On the Harris side, I think that the vice president understands that the prior administration has done a very poor job in addressing this new technology and that a reset is necessary. She hasn't come out with any specific details, but there's a lot that can be done. We've seen other jurisdictions come up with appropriate regulations for digital assets, and it can be done in the U.S. This is an amazing new technology. It has a lot of promise, but there's been a lot of fraud. There's been a lot of manipulation. We need good regulation. The just say no attitude of the SEC is not the right way to do it.
Now, Donald Trump and his family have been heavily promoting a DeFi project that they're a part of called World Liberty Financial. Trump's potential conflicts of interest where business is concerned has come up in the past. Do you think that his private businesses in the crypto space specifically create a risky incentive for him to be soft on the industry?
Aren't his kids running that, though? It's not really him. He's just kind of the face of it, but it's to raise money, right, to help him.
Yes. Now, Trump is in it for Trump.
I'm not mistaken.
Trump will do anything to scrape up a buck. And if he can sell dodgy tokens in something that nobody understands what it does and run away with the money, he'll do it.
Now, on the Harris side, we finally heard from the vice president with a sort of vague comment encouraging innovation in the space while protecting consumers and investors. We know that her team has been meeting behind closed doors with some of crypto's biggest leaders. Any reaction to Kamala Harris's approach on crypto and what it might signal from a policy perspective, or is it just too little from her at this point to tell either way?
Well, it shows a return to common sense. because we have these two extreme views. We have the just say no approach of the SEC, which doesn't work, and then we have the anything goes from the traditional crypto people who don't want any government oversight. Basically, what we need is a way to encourage innovation, to allow people to innovate, and also at the same time make sure that people who are selling tokens tell people what's in them, that the people who are trading them aren't manipulating the prices, that the intermediaries who are handling these transactions aren't stealing your money. This is why we regulate financial services, because of a long, long history of theft and fraud and manipulation. And in the past 10 years in the crypto world, we've seen all of this, which is why a lot of people are very skeptical of the world. But the skeptics ignore the fact that this technology is very promising. We have the ability to overhaul the plumbing and the mechanics of our financial markets in ways that actually improve things for everyone. So we want to make sure that we bring in the good innovation, while at the same time we stomp out the fraud, the manipulation, the theft that we've seen. And that's why we need good, smart regulators who understand the technology, who come in with the appropriate technology, and who don't just have this, well, we'll sue you in court 5 years from now when we figure out what we want to do attitude, which is what the SEC has been doing. If even a place as slow as the European Union can come up with something like their Markets in Crypto Assets Directive, we should be able to do it too.
Now, you're a market structure guy. Bitwise just submitted an application for an XRP ETF trust in Delaware. People have been talking about a Solana ETF in the US. Meanwhile, you've got BlackRock and others who are pushing for a more robust set of products by pushing for options. Talk to me about the future of institutional adoption of these crypto products. What's the next priority, and where do we go from here?
Right. Well, Wall Street will sell anything they can make a buck on, and that's what they're good at. And they understand as intermediaries that a lot of people really don't want to be messing with private keys and wallets and all that.
Real quick, I just want to, in case you guys didn't know, President Joe Biden nominated Gensler to serve as the 33rd chair of the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission.
And so they're providing a service. They're providing a service of convenience.
For the record.
Anybody who wants to can basically download wallet software and buy their own Bitcoin or Ethereum or Solana or any of those other cryptos. But it's a lot simpler just to go tap, tap, tap on your pre-existing brokerage account. Now, the key thing, though, is we need to make sure that consumers are being informed as to what those tokens are. There are thousands of tokens out there, some of them quite useful, some of them complete frauds. And so what we need is good cops on the beat who can allow the law-abiding citizens through and put the criminals in jail. And right now we have an SEC chair who basically views everyone as a criminal.
I'm so sick of this political bullshit. I can't wait till this election's over. Oh, man. All right. Let's move on to the videos of the day. I only got a little bit of time left. So we're going to watch this. Why experts are still extremely bullish on Bitcoin. In this video, some guy claims that by Halloween 2025, we're going to see a $475,000 Bitcoin.
Stop the cap.
I don't believe it, but we're going to have to see what they say. Let's do it.
To say there's a lot of uncertainty in markets today is an understatement. From a major escalation in international conflict to a massive impending port strike, which could impact supply chains, the fears of an economic downturn still rumble in the distance. But what does all this mean for Bitcoin? Today we hear from experts in macro and investing to help make the case for why this dip to start the month is likely just a blip in the radar, and why all signs are still pointing to Bitcoin being ready to rip higher very soon. Could we see $465,000 Bitcoin by Halloween 2025?
Sorry, 465,000, not 75,000.
What's up, everyone? Welcome to Pure Bitcoin Signal. I'm Hurley, Director of Content at Swan. Now let's get right into it. Bitcoin continues its sideways price action, which has now been going on for an excruciating 7 months. And just when it seemed like it was ready to make a big move up last week, we had another escalation in international conflict and the threat of a massive port strike to start the week, which pumped some more uncertainty into markets. So what can we expect in the short to medium term? Are we in store for another big price dump before we can move higher? Is a larger market downturn inevitable before the money printers are turned on in full force? Natalie Brunell had two of my favorite macro and investing minds on her podcast this week, James Lavish and Larry Lepard. So I'll let them answer this question and I'll add my comments at the end.
First of all, great uncertainty is not great for markets. Markets hate uncertainty. And so with Bitcoin, you're definitely sensing some uncertainty here. We saw the Nikkei was down almost 5% last night. It's like, are we going to have another, yen carry trade issue, or is liquidity actually being drawn out? Are we actually heading into a recession that we're going to have to stomach first long term? And the reality is, Sam did a great job with Lynn Alden on this and studying that Bitcoin is highly correlated to the long-term growth and liquidity. And so when you have money supply expanding over the long term, Bitcoin will follow that. It may not follow it week to week or even month to month, certainly not day to day, but it will follow it long term. And so if you just pull back and you just eliminate all the noise and you hear nothing else from this conversation but this, just remember that, as Larry said, central banks are trapped. Sovereigns are trapped. They have no choice. We have so much debt. We have so much leverage in the world that we have no choice but to build on that leverage, expand on that leverage, expand on the money supply in order to keep the charade going. And Bitcoin will ultimately benefit from that even more than gold.
Natalie, it'd be helpful to give you some historical perspective. This reminds me very much of 2019 and 2020 when Bitcoin was kind of stuck in the 5s and 10K range and gold was stuck at 1365. And gold broke out first, well before COVID happened or anything else. And then COVID happened and then Bitcoin just came racing by, and so gold was up in that event, gold was up, 50, 60, 70%. Bitcoin was up 300%. So to answer your question and to allay your concerns, the year's not over. And I'll say it here first. I think we'll see six figures this year, this calendar year. Yeah. And I think James would agree with us because he does a lot of good technical analysis. If you look at it, there's a bull flag forming with a downward slope. And what is it, James? 73?
Yeah, it's been forming for months now.
Right. And when it breaks 73, it's going to.
What do you guys think? You think we're going to see over 100K by the end of the year, or close to 100K? He's saying about six figures at the end of the year.
Score to 100, like lickety split, don't you think?
All right, so this has been a bull flag that's been forming for months here. Okay, this is the daily. So if you go to the weekly, it's easier to see. But this has been forming for this long. Here's the flagpole right here. After we had the ETFs approved and we had that sell off, which was a fake out. You had this flagpole created, and now you have lower highs and lower lows that continue as you consolidate through here, right? So now as we keep consolidating, you could see just this last week we bounced right off that flag. I mean, it's just incredible. We bounced right off of it, and it's like a self-fulfilling prophecy that traders look at this and they watch this and they say, okay, it's not quite ready yet. And so now here we are this week, starting today, we're down, but once it breaks through this level, which is about 66,000, then the next level is the all-time high. And that all-time high is what, 72 and change?
73-ish, yeah.
Yeah, 73,000. So once it breaks through that, then it's price discovery, and that's it. And you're kind of off to the
flags typically fly at half mass. So you add another 20 points, 24 points to that, and you easily get to, 80, high 80s, low 90s, and it'll overshoot probably into the 100,000 range. So
you guys are feeling bullish.
Oh, absolutely. It's just relax. It's all coming our way.
So as James Lavish mentioned,
real quick for all the bears in the chat, since Bitcoin's inception back in, it was 2009, right? Realistically, look where we started. Okay, it was way under $1, but it's $2 here, lowest on the chart, and it's continuously grown. Everybody that says like, oh, it's going to sell off, it's going to go to zero, you've been wrong for like 13 years. Like, what do you mean?
Stop the cap.
The hell out of here.
And I've been beating like a dead horse on the show, global liquidity or new money being entered into the economy is on the rise, and Bitcoin historically follows that rise. In fact, M2 money supply has never been higher than it is now. Central banks around the world are cutting rates, and all signs point to those rate cuts continuing. I love Larry's take that this feels an awful lot like Bitcoin's price action in 2019-2020 when the price was hovering around $5,000 and $10,000. Like then,
it's been literally the best performing asset ever in existence.
Gold was leading the way, and Bitcoin ended up rocketing past it after the COVID stimulus hit. I think we see something similar play out this time around. We may not hit six figures like Larry is predicting, but all signs point to the next 6 to 12 months being very bullish for Bitcoin. The facts remain, no matter who is in the White House come November, the money printing cannot and will not stop. The debt is too high, and the only way to service that debt is more money printing, which I think will lead to Bitcoin being the biggest winner once again.
Facts.
And as much as we're all praying that the current tensions in the Middle East subside, I hate to say it, but even World War III would be bullish for Bitcoin. Obviously, all war is incredibly horrific, and we're all hoping and praying that doesn't happen. But the fact is that war means even more money printing. Because as we all learn going down the Bitcoin and money rabbit hole, modern war simply cannot be financed without the money printer. Now let's hear from another one of my favorite macro minds, Dr. Jeff Ross, who was just on Preston Pish's podcast, and he gave his thoughts on where we are in Bitcoin.
I'm throwing this over to Jeff. He's been very quiet. This is the topic he loves to talk about. Where are we at? Are we going to continue to chop sideways, or are we about to break out into a bull market, Jeff?
The bull crab market is over.
Oh, wow.
It's the bull market officially. So for all these reasons we're talking about, liquidity is breaking out. Global M2 is rising. Most people are US centric, but when you're talking about global assets like Bitcoin, which is the premier global asset, you want to see global M2 monetary supply rising. And that's where you have the strongest correlation. I think they're going to do a couple of 25 bip cuts in November and December. So it'll be a full like 100 basis point cut by the end of this year. That's my take on it. And I think what we're starting to see, and if you look at past cycles, obviously, Huddle and I talk about this all the time. It feels just like it did back in 2016. It feels just like it did back in 2020. When you have that kind of everybody's just chomping it at the bit, they're just getting so impatient. I see people bailing. They're like, I thought Bitcoin was awesome. I thought you said it was going to go up, and I bought in at 55 or 60K, and it's just still sitting at 60K, 58K forever. I hate this. And they're bailing. And I'm like, please, please don't. Like, this is when you want to be in right now. And so I think that the next 13 months,
let them go, bro. Just buy it up. Let them go. See ya.
And it's on September 23rd. I think the next 13 to 14 months are just going to be lit, and we're going to start slowly at first, and then I think we're going to get that exponential move higher as people start getting confidence. The other thing I think people aren't realizing is there's doom and gloom recessionistas all over the place still. I listen to them every morning. They're good people. They're smart economists, and they're wrong. They're just totally wrong. We are not headed into a recession. I think GDP is going to surprise to the upside. I think manufacturing is going to start shooting higher and quickly. And once everybody figures that out and we see that economies are actually starting to grow again, especially here in the US, it's just going to be off to the races and it's going to be bananas. So I'm very much looking forward to 2025.
Christmas of 25, if we are, fourth quarter of 25, if we're recording, where you think we're talking about not the 58K gang, we're talking about the 580K gang. Is that?
All right. These guys, they've been puffing on that hopium over here on this podcast. I don't even know what podcast this is, but this guy right here. A lot of hopium. I don't think this is going to happen or anywhere close to it. But hey, listen, I love his enthusiasm.
Is that what are you guys thinking?
I'm sticking with I'm breaking all the cardinal rules. You don't pick a date and a price, but I'm doing both. I'm saying at Halloween of 2025, we'll be at 475K.
Wow, so that is a very bullish price prediction.
I wish, but I don't think that's going to happen. We'd be lucky to see 200. I don't think that's going to happen. Probably a 150 or so, maybe. 120 is more likely.
Ross, who is usually pretty measured. Price predictions are fun, but the signal lies in the fact that Bitcoin is right where it should be. We are so close to the fireworks, and whether you got in at $20,000, $50,000, or $75,000 doesn't make much of a difference in the long run when Bitcoin goes to where we all expect it to over the next 5 years.
I forgot to hit the button.
So is that a joint?
That's what I should have done.
10 years. Remember, this is the world's first open, global, non-sovereign, fixed supply money that can't be manipulated or debased. Nothing else comes close to the opportunity that lies in Bitcoin right here, right now. So get your friends and family off zero today by setting it.
Nope. He's going to shill his stupid platform. All right. That's enough. You guys, we got to get into the recap segment of things. Unfortunately, I got to get out of here. This is daddy duty. That's what happens when you have kids. Got to get them to school. All right, anybody just joining? Bitcoin, $60,816. Got Ethereum at $23.53. Solana's at $137. Everything's still kind of on a fire sale. Honestly, Caspa under 14.5 cents. I'm gonna pick some more up after the stream. Actually, XRP 51 cents, 11.75%. Man, I'm really debating. I fucking hate it though. I can't stand it. Like, it's literally a soft porn. It gets you excited for absolutely nothing every single time. But it did run up to like over 60 cents. So literally 2 days ago. I don't know. Whatever. I might buy some back in and then just sell it again. Near Protocol, $4.53. We got ETC over here at 1837. Let's see what else. APT up almost 10% today, 9.5 to be exact. 8.34. Sorry, $8.34. If I could talk normal. We got again 34-cent ADA, just about. BNB is at $537. BitTensor is under $500 now. Over here, $496, down 8.5%. Render is down 10.7% to $5.18. WIF is down 9%, just about $2 for that. If anybody cares about WIF still. Is anybody still buying that shit? We got Dogecoin almost at 10 cents. It's 10.3 to be exact, down 2.39%. Pepe is down almost, that's at 8%, just about 8.25 down today. Shiba is down 3.67. Let's just check out. Nothing really changed over here on Crypto Bubbles. Seems to be biggest loser of the day is this Athena token, 29 cents over here, almost 30 cents. XRP again, 11.4. Yeah, I don't know, I might. 24 hours, it's dropped like 10 cents. Almost crazy. All right, flashbang. Fear and Greed index is at 37. This is good. Be greedy when people are fearful, and be fearful when people are greedy. You guys know famous quote of Mr. Warren Buffett. And with that being said, You guys are all awesome. Thanks for hanging out with me today on the Daily Grind. I'll be back tomorrow morning, 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. You guys have a great, fantastic day. One more day. We got to get through this, all right? One more day. Tomorrow's Friday. I'll see you guys then. Peace out and have a good day.
If she don't hawk to her, we don't talk to her. Perfect.
Spit on that thing.
I love titties.
Eat shit, Gary.